Hello everybody, and I hope you're all doing fine. Today's lesson is about modal verbs, modal verbs in the past and in the passive. But we will do a short and a general review first, and we will start with the definition of modal verbs. What are modal verbs? Modal verbs are a type of auxiliary or helping verbs like can, must, may, might, etc. And they are used to express different functions like ability, possibility, permission, and so on. So here is the story. It's just part of the story of Helen Keller, the girl who could not see, hear, or speak, and it is taken from English.blogspot. I will leave the link here so you may go back if you want and read it. And I would like you to look at the underlined words there in red. So these are the modal verbs. So they include could, was able, must, and should. And they are used to express different functions, and that we are going to see now. Look at this chart. So on the left side, we have the modals, and we start with the first one. It's can. Can express different functions. So it can express ability, as in the example, she can swim like a fish. Can also can be used for requesting assistance, as in the example, can you help me carry this bag? Or can be used for permission. For example, can I use your calculator, please? Could can be used to express ability in the past. For example, she could swim well when she was young. Or it can be used for requests. For example, could I have your number, please? Have to. Have to can be used for necessity. For example, they have to wear blue uniform. May can be used for possibility. As in the sentence, I may go out this afternoon. Or for permission. It can be used for permission, as in the example, may I use your ruler, please? Then might expresses possibility. For example, it might rain tomorrow. Must can be used to express obligation or necessity. For example, you must study your lessons. Or it can be used for certainty or strong belief or deduction. For example, she must be over 80 years of age, I'm sure. Now, mustn't is used for prohibition. For example, you mustn't smoke here, it's forbidden. Then can't expresses inability. For example, I can't speak Portuguese. Or for inappropriateness. For example, you can't wear that dress, it's indecent. Or for impossibility. For example, you can't have written this. Your English is terrible, so it's impossible for you to write this. This is not yours. Now, don't have to and needn't are used when there is a lack of obligation or necessity. For example, you needn't get up early tomorrow. It's Sunday. Now, should and ought to, as you know, are used for advisability or recommendation. When you want to advise someone or recommend something to someone, you use should and ought to. For example, you ought to see a doctor. Okay? Now, let's check whether you've understood what I've been telling you. I want you to match the sentences with their functions. So here are the sentences on the left and the functions on the right. For example, my father could swim very well. What's that? Obligation, possibility, ability, or request. Sure, it is ability. So when he was young, he was able to swim. Number two, children must do their homework. This is what? This is, of course, an obligation. Yes. So must, we say must or have to. Just must and have to are used to express obligation, but must is kind of an internal obligation and mostly used in the UK, in England. And have to is kind of an external obligation used especially in North America. Now, number three, could you open the window, please? Yes, it's a request. It's used to, could you is used to express request. It's cloudy, it may rain soon. That's a possibility. May and might are used for possibility. Okay, good. Okay. Number five, you should stop smoking. Is it prohibition, advisability, lack of obligation, or permission? Should, we said that should is used for advisability. Yes. You mustn't eat chewing gum in class. What's that? Good, yes, it is a prohibition. We use mustn't for prohibition. Now, you needn't cook. I'm not hungry. What's that? Lack of obligation, lack of necessity. May I use your pen, please? Yes, you ask for permission to use a pen. So, permission. Okay? Good. Okay. Now, it's your turn to find what the sentences express. So, what do these sentences express? John can speak Spanish. Can, we said, is used for ability or possibility. Yes, ability or possibility. Now, when you say, can you make me a cup of coffee, please? Or could you, or would you, or will you make me a cup of coffee, please? What's that? Very good. Yes, it's a request. Number three, can and may. Can I use? Can I go? Can I? What's that? So here it says, can I or may I use your pen, please? Yes, it's used for permission. Number four, you have to do your homework. Have to and must. Okay, good. Yes, it's for expressing obligation. Now, number five, I must be on time to school. Yes, it's again an obligation. As I said earlier, that both must and have to are used to express obligation, except for the fact that must is kind of an internal obligation and have to is kind of an external obligation. Someone tells you what to do. Good. Now, you mustn't drive through the red light. That's a prohibition. Mustn't is used for prohibition. Number seven, you are tired. You must have worked a lot. What's that? Yes, it's certainty or deduction. You deduce the what happened. Number eight, Morocco may win the World Cup, or Morocco might win the World Cup. You never know. That's just a possibility. Good. Nine, I think you should go for the Mercedes rather than the audio, sorry. What is it? Should, advisability. Very good. Now, you needn't get up early tomorrow because you don't have class. So you needn't, you don't have to, that's lack of obligation. And the last one, Anne can't have attended class because she was in hospital. Impossible. It's impossibility. Yes. Very good. Okay, now let's look at modals in the past. Now, to talk about the past, we usually add have plus past participle to the modal verbs. For example, we say may plus have plus past participle, or might or could or must, etc. plus have plus past participle. You may have gone. She must have been, for example. So let's see whether you can do this. So what do these statements express, and what is the tense? Is it present or past? That's all. For example, you should have worked harder last year. So should have is used to talk about past mistakes, and when you are sorry about a past event. It means that something that would have been done was not done. It's like giving advice about the past when you say it to someone else, or regretting what you did or didn't do when you are talking about yourself. So it's kind of advice or regret, and of course it is in the past. Okay, so let's do the exercise. So Bob may have had a shower before he left to work. So the sentence expresses possibility in the past. Good. Life is a journey, not a race. I couldn't have said it better myself. This phrase is used to wholeheartedly agree with a previously said expression. It is used to agree with somebody else's remark. So it's kind of it's an agreement in the past, yes. Number 3, Amy can't be at home. She must be at work. So can't expresses impossibility and must expresses certainty, and both of them are in the present. Number 4, it's wet all over. It must have rained last night. So it expresses what? Good, certainty or deduction, and of course it's in the past. We have must have plus past participle. Number 5, Bill might need some help with his homework. What is it? It's a possibility. Yes, it's a possibility in the present. Good. Number 6, I would have come to your party, but I was really busy. So this is what? This is kind of an assumption or an expectation in the past, or a speculation about a past event. Number 7, we haven't heard from him for 10 years. He may have died. You never know. So what is it? It's a possibility in the past. Number 8, I must buy some presents for the family before I go home. What is it? Obligation. So must here is used for obligation and in the present. Number 9, Dad had to walk to work because his car broke down. We know that had to is the past of, yes, it's the past of have to. So it's past. Yes. So had to is used to talk about necessity and obligation that existed in the past. Number 10, the thief must have had a key. The door and windows were not broken. So this is what? Good, it's a certainty or deduction and in the past. Okay? Okay, let's go. Now let's go to your book, page 124, and do a few exercises. The first one says use an appropriate modal verb with the verb in brackets. So employees must, can, should, have, etc. respect the rules of our company. What is it? Let's focus on the first one. So employees, we can say, must respect the rules of our company or have to respect the rules of our company. But the employers must or have to ensure adequate environment for their employees. Look at number 3. You start your revision many weeks before. So meaning the sentence is in the past. Okay? So we have to use the modal in the past. So what is it? Yes, you should have started your revision many weeks before. Okay? So it's kind of an advice in the past. Number 4. Okay, our boss have a problem these days, so present. So we haven't seen him smiling for nearly 2 weeks. So we deduce that from his look, his smile. He's not smiling, sorry. So what is it? Good. Must have. So our boss must have a problem these days. Okay. Number 5. Tom met his friends of childhood when he visited his mother in Manchester. He visited, meaning that it's past. But I'm not sure. It's possibility. Yes. So might. Tom might have met his friends of childhood when he visited his mother in Manchester. I'm not sure. Number 6. The bank not approve your project a year before, so that's past, because it was not well prepared. So it's not well prepared. It's impossible for the bank to approve your project if it's not well prepared. So impossibility in the past. Can't. Good. The bank can't have approved your project a year before because it was not well prepared. The last one. You be tired, your eyes are red. Your eyes are red now. So, yes, I deduce that you must be tired. I'm certain. Okay? Now, here is the last part of the lesson. It's about modal verbs in the passive voice. Well, as you know, modals in the present passive take this structure. Modal plus be plus the past participle. For example, must be taken. The test must be taken. What about modals in the past? Modals in the past passive, they take or have this structure. Modal plus have been plus the past participle. For example, must have been taken. The keys must have been taken by someone. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's check whether you've understood the rule. So the first exercise, it's on your book, page 125, and the first exercise is the sentences are in the present. Okay, so we said that modal in the present, modal plus be plus past participle. So we all agree that we must take action. So we all agree that action must be, and the verb is take in the participle. Good, taken. So we all agree that action must be taken. Okay. Number 2, they ought to make things clear to the boss. So things, the modal is ought to plus be, and the verb make in the participle is made. So things ought to be made clear to the boss. Number 3, you can find the computer you are looking for in the new supermarket. So the computer you are looking for, so we have the modal can be, and the verb find in the participle is, past participle is found, so can be found in the new supermarket. Okay? Now, exercise 2b. So the first exercise is in the present and the second part is in the past. Here it says, put each of the following sentences in the passive using the modal and the verb in brackets. So I am almost sure she was injured in a car accident. So we use the modal must and the verb hit. So we can say, she must have been hit by a car. So we know that the modals in the past have the structure of modal plus have been plus the verb in the past participle. Okay? Number 2, maybe the house was there 200 years ago. The house could have been, and the verb is built in the past participle, built. Yes. So the house could have been built 200 years ago. Number 3, it's impossible that Jay got an invitation to the party. So the modal is can't and the verb is invite. So can't have been plus the verb invite in the past participle, which is invited because it's a regular verb. So Jay can't have been invited to the party. Number 4, it would have been better to mail the letter by Federal Express. Ought to is the modal and send is the verb. So the letter ought to have been, and the verb send in the past participle is sent. So the letter ought to have been sent by Federal Express. Okay? So just have a look at the exercises for a few seconds. Okay, let's move on. Now, here is the last exercise, and it's kind of homework, and I would like you to look at the following 2 pictures and make sentences using modal verbs. Here are the 2 pictures, and in the first picture we have a lady who's laughing. So can you make a few sentences about her? She may have heard a joke, for example. She might have, she could have, she must have. And in the second picture, we have a child who's crying. And can you make a few sentences about the child? She must have lost something. She may have had problem. Okay? Good luck. Bye-bye.